Hello everyone and welcome to Apprenons ensemble. French for Intermediate, Negation Exercise 1. In this exercise, we will have to turn sentences into negative. So let's first start by learning what is negation and how we can negate a sentence. Negation is a grammatical term for the contradiction of some or all the meaning of an affirmative sentence. In English, a sentence is commonly negated by inserting a single negative word, not, don't, didn't, won't, etc., into the appropriate place in the sentence. In French, a sentence is commonly negated by inserting two words. Basic negation structure. Ne dash pas is placed around the conjugated verb to negate an affirmative sentence in French. This is for simple sentences. Note that the NE changes to an apostrophe before a word beginning with a vowel. Structure of simple sentence with negation. Subject, NE or an apostrophe, then verb, then pas, then complement, also called object. Exercise. So here is the required knowledge that you need to have before starting this exercise. In this exercise, we will have to put the sentences in the negative form. Here is the list of knowledge to have before you can start. Number 1, French tenses. Number 2, interrogative sentences formation. Number 3, negative sentences formation. And finally, for each sentence, you will have 30 seconds to put them in the negative form. So if you are ready, let's jump right into it. Put in the negative form. Mettez à la forme négative. Okay, here are the sentences that we are going to use for our today exercise. So for each sentence, you will get 30 seconds, and then at the end, we will do the correction together. Sentence number 1. Elle aime les fruits. Elle aime les fruits. So, 30 seconds, starting now. Sentence number 2. Nous avons des amis. Nous avons des amis. 30 seconds, starting now. Sentence number 3. Les enfants veulent manger des crepes. Les enfants veulent manger des crepes. 30 seconds, starting now. Sentence number 4. Veux-tu acheter des fruits? Veux-tu acheter des fruits? 30 seconds, starting now. Finally, sentence number 5. Vous avez nettoyé la table. Vous avez nettoyé la table. 30 seconds, starting now. Hope it wasn't too difficult for you, but if you need more time, you can pause the video, get your answers before you come to this part. Okay, the answers, les réponses. Let's start with the first sentence. Number 1, Elle aime les fruits. Okay, so first, let's see the structure of the sentence that we do have here. So the general structure of the sentence without negation. This is this sentence. So here we have the subject, we have the verb, and we have the complement. So let's color each part so that it will be easy for us to identify each part. Okay, so Elle is the subject, the verb is aime, and les fruits is the complement. Okay? Okay, so this is the same sentence that we have here. Now let's see the structure of that same sentence with negation. So here we'll have the subject, then we have our first part of the negation, ne, then the verb, then pas, then the complement. Okay. We should also not forget that ne should be placed right after the subject. So here I'm giving you a tip, because if you go through some different schools, they will tell you to put ne, and pas before and after the verb, which is not always right. So just use this rule, and it will always be correct. So instead of thinking about putting ne before the verb, just think about putting the ne right after the subject. This is very important. Ne right after the subject. And pas should be placed right after the verb. Okay? Keep it in mind, very important. Ne right after the subject, and pas right after the verb. So let's see. Okay, so here is this sentence without the negation. So they say this is the subject, so I'm going to put ne right after Elle. So ne here. And this is the verb, I'm going to put pas right after the verb. So this is pas. Okay? So, Elle ne aime pas les fruits. Okay? Now we have another point. We should not forget that ne becomes an apostrophe when the next word starts with a vowel or a silent H. So here, look at here, we have our ne, and the next word starts with a vowel. So here, we are going to replace this e by an apostrophe. Okay? So you see here, so Elle n'aime pas les fruits. Okay? Sentence number 2. Nous avons des amis. Nous avons des amis. So again, let's start by looking at the structure of this sentence. So we have our subject, then the verb, then the complement. Let's color each part of the sentence. Nous is the subject, the verb is avons, and les amis is the complement. Okay? So again, the same logic. This is the structure of the sentence without the negation. And here is the structure of the sentence with the negation. So again, same like before. Subject, ne, verb, pas, then complement. Okay, so again, I'm going to tell you again the same tips because I'm going to tell you this tip till the end of the video. Ne, please write after the subject. So directly after this subject, you put ne, and pas right after the verb. Okay, so let's see. So you put ne right after the subject, and you put pas right after the verb. Okay, understood this one? Now, we should not forget also that after ne, if you do have a vowel here, what do you have to do? So again, ne becomes an apostrophe when the next word starts with a vowel or a silent H. Understood? So finally, we will have Nous n'avons pas des amis. And there is another point which is very important. There should be no space between the next word and the apostrophe. Okay, there should be no space between the apostrophe and the next word. Okay. Now here there is one last thing that we need to pay attention to. After pas, so after this pas, if we have un, une, du or des or any number, we change them to de when it's used to express a generality. So example, a new car, a red car, some friend. Okay, so here after pas, we do have des. So here we are going to change this des to de. So let's see. Now, nous n'avons pas de amis. Okay. Now there is one last point here that you need to pay attention to. This is a French rule. Okay. For any two letters words ending with e or a, followed by another word starting with a vowel or a silent h, the e or a of the two letters word should be replaced by an apostrophe. Okay, so here let's look at here. We have a two letters word. That's what I said here, a two letters word, and that two letters word should end with e or a. So here it ends with e. Okay, followed by another word starting with a vowel or silent h. So in our case, it starts with a vowel. So in this case, the e or the a will be replaced by an apostrophe. Okay. Understood this one? So let's see. Okay, so nous n'avons pas d'amis. So again, between apostrophe and the next word, there should be no space. Understood? Third sentence. Les enfants veulent manger des crepes. Les enfants veulent manger des crepes. Okay, let's have a look at the structure of our sentence. So here, we have the subject. Then in this case, let's see now. We have verb 1 and we have verb 2. Then we have the complement. Okay, let's color each part so that we'll be able to see the different parts. Okay, so les enfants is the subject. The verb 1 is veulent. Manger is the verb 2. And des crepes is the complement. Okay. So again, the same logic, this is the structure of the sentence without the negation, and this is the structure of the sentence with the negation. Now look at properly where are we going to put our negation. So the subject, then right after we will put our ne, then the first verb, then pas, then the second verb, then the complement. Okay? So let's see. Now again, we should not forget, so again the tip, ne right after the subject, pas right after the first verb in this case. Okay, so the subject, then ne, then verb 1, then pas, then verb 2, then the object. Okay, so les enfants ne veulent pas manger des crêpes. So again, ne becomes an apostrophe when the next word starts with a vowel or a silent h. But in this case, after ne, we have a consonant, so we are going to keep it this way. Okay, so again, after pas, if we do have un, une, du, des, or any number, we have to change them to de when we use them to express a generality. So here we are talking about pancake. Okay, so they don't eat pancake. So here we are going to change this des to de. Okay. So here is the final sentence. Les enfants ne veulent pas manger de crêpes. Les enfants ne veulent pas manger de crêpes. Okay. Sentence number 4. Veux-tu acheter des fruits? Veux-tu acheter des fruits? Let's have a look at the structure of this sentence. So we have verb 1 here, then we have an hyphen, and then the subject, then verb 2, then complement, and finally we have the question mark. Here, why do we have the verb before the subject? Because it's a question. We have something that we call inversion in French, and in our case, they have used inversion in this sentence. Okay? So that's why you have the verb coming before the subject. Okay? Now, let's color each part of our sentence to be able to identify. So, veux is the verb 1. Then we have our hyphen here. Then tu is the subject. Then acheter is the verb number 2. Then des fruits is the complement. So again, the structure of the sentence without the negation, and here the structure of the sentence with the negation. So this time, let's pay attention properly. We need to understand this logic. While inverting between the verb and the subject, the verb will come first, then we'll have an hyphen, and then the subject. Okay? Now this part becomes a block. Okay? This will become a block. So we can't put anything between this block. Okay? So we are going to put ne before the block and pas after the block. Understood this part? Okay? So this whole thing will be a block. We can't put anything in between. So ne will come before and pas will come after the block. So again, we should not forget for interrogative sentence with inversion, okay, ne should be placed right before the inversion and pas should be placed right after the inversion. So again, the same things I was telling you. So this part is the inversion, okay, so we can't put anything in between. So we are going to put our ne before the block and pas after the inversion. So here I'm putting my ne before the block, then pas, then the remaining of the sentence. So, ne veux-tu pas acheter des fruits? Okay. Then again, after pas, if we have un, une, du, des, or any number, we change them to de when used to express a generality. Okay. So let's have a look. So I think here we are talking about this des. So we change it to de. So ne veux-tu pas acheter de fruits? Ne veux-tu pas acheter de fruits? Okay. Sentence number 5. Vous avez nettoyé la table. Vous avez nettoyé la table. Okay. Let's have a look at the structure of this sentence. So here, if I'm paying attention properly, or if you remember what you have learned before, this tense is called passé composé. So it's a compound tense. Compound tense means we'll be using an auxiliary and the verb itself, the past participle form of the verb. Okay, so this tense that we have here is passé composé. So now let's have a look. So the subject, then the être, present tense. In this case, I think it's a mistake. It's avoir present tense. Okay. Then the verb past participle and the complement. Okay. Sorry for the mistake here. It's not être. In our case, it is avoir. Because passé composé can be conjugated with auxiliary être and avoir. Okay. So general structure without the negation, and let's see the different parts. So, vous is the subject, then avez is the verb avoir present tense, then the verb past participle is nettoyé, and then the complement. So again, the structure of the sentence without the negation, and here we have the structure of the sentence with the negation. So here, let's have a look properly. So we are going to put our ne, again, pay attention, right after our subject. We don't care. In whatever sentence we have, if you use this logic, you will never make a mistake. So ne right after the subject. But in this case, since we have the auxiliary and the past participle, here maybe there may be a doubt, but here we are going to put pas right after the past participle. Okay, and in our case, we are going to put pas after the conjugated form of avoir. So again, ne should be placed right after the subject and pas should be placed right after the verb. So here the verb is this part, that's why you are putting pas after, because here we have the past participle form, which is not conjugated part exactly, it's the past participle form. The conjugated verb here will be avoir, if you want to understand it properly. So here we are going to put our ne after the subject and pas after the avoir conjugation. So, vous ne avez pas nettoyé la table. Okay, vous ne avez pas nettoyé la table. Now again, ne becomes an apostrophe when the next word starts with a vowel or silent H. So here we have our ne, which is a 2 letters word again. So we can use also the other rule that we use. I think it was sentence number 3. So 2 letters word followed, ending with e or a, followed by another word starting with a vowel or silent H. So here again, we are going to replace this e by an apostrophe. And again, please, no more space between the next word and the apostrophe. Okay? So, vous n'avez pas nettoyé la table. Okay? Vous n'avez pas nettoyé la table. Okay? So, here are the answers of the exercise. Elle aime les fruits, elle n'aime pas les fruits. Nous avons des amis, nous n'avons pas d'amis. Les enfants veulent manger des crêpes, les enfants ne veulent pas manger de crêpes. Veux-tu acheter des fruits? Ne veux-tu pas acheter de fruits? Vous avez nettoyé la table, vous n'avez pas nettoyé la table. Okay, so here are the English translations of the following sentences. So that will help you maybe practice how to translate sentences from English to French. So, if you like this type of video, please, you can leave a comment at the end, or if you do have any doubts, just leave me a comment so that I will be able to guide you conveniently according to your doubts. So this is it for today's class. If you like this type of video, please join our channel, and I will see you soon for a new video. Thank you. Au revoir.